Hey YouTube, Ken Marlowe Bricks here. Now, you might be wondering, why am I surrounded by all these different sets? They have nothing in common. You have the big creator cars, you have the old high-speed passenger train, you have a couple of modular buildings, you have the old fisherman store, and you have a set that's still new in the box. I mean, what am I doing? Well, let's find out. Off the table, so we have some room to play. So, I got a haul from lightmybricks.com. These guys are super awesome. They make kits to light up your sets. So in this case, we have the Grand Emporium. Goes right there. And we have the Palace Cinema that we saw earlier. It's not on the table anymore. We have the Aston Martin. That's right there. The high-speed passenger train. It's hanging out back here by me. We have the Volkswagen bus, old 60s bus, split window, pop out front windows, super cool build, super excited about it. The old fishing store over here. And finally, one more set. That's right, the Volkswagen Beetle that was still new in the box. So obviously I'm going to be lighting up some of my sets. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to do it. The passenger train, I did buy, so on the passenger train, you'll notice that it is a little bit longer than normal. Normally it has just a front car, a rear car, and one middle passenger car. So that's the lights that they provide for you on that. Because of that, I did actually buy more stuff from them. I bought a couple more little blister packs here, some extra cables, some extra lights, and and that'll allow me to expand it into the extra cars. But in addition to that, I also have this multi-effects board that is allows me to do like a strobe light, so you can alternate back and forth on your lights, kind of like a railroad crossing, which is where I plan to use it. It has a couple of other effects as well, like flashing. The lights that they give you on the kit are a flickering light, so it's a single light that flickers, and sometimes when you use two of them in together, they don't flicker. They'll like flicker at the same time, and then they'll slowly go out of order, and then they'll eventually end up alternating, and then that kind of thing. So I wanted a real consistent alternate flicker, so I paid a little extra and got the multi-effects board. They also threw me a couple of stickers, one of which I just dropped. So a couple of Light My Brick stickers that I can put on somewhere. And they also gave me, where did he go? There he is, still in the package. A little minifig, like a little sig fig. So that's really cool. I can add that to my sig fig collection. So yeah, so there's the train, the bus, the Aston Martin, and the fishing store I built from scratch from sets. The Grand Emporium came from a used bin, so there are a couple pieces missing. I've been slowly sourcing them on Bricklink, so it'll give me a chance to take it apart, clean it up, put those pieces back in, and put the lights in. The Palace Cinema that you saw earlier, that is needs a little bit of repair. It's an old building and a little bit of disrepair, so I need to do a little restoration there, and then hopefully in that process I can put the lights in that as well. So it's kind of funny though, you'll see I have some boxes back here that are still sets that are new in box. Those aren't for the store or anything. It's just stuff I haven't built yet that I bought. I was excited about. I wanted to build, and I just haven't gotten to it. It's my backlog, and I totally spaced it now. I don't know how I could have spaced it, but I totally spaced it. I actually have the Parisian Restaurant back there, new in box, unopened, and I should have bought a light kit for this as well. So I'll have to go back onto lightmybricks.com and buy another lighting kit for this one. So let's see what it all looks like, shall we? So here I am sitting in the dark in the Lego room. Let's see what we got. There is our old fishing store. It's kind of hard to see because it's off to the side there. There is our Grand Emporium. That thing is a beacon in the dark. And instead of doing the Oriental Theater, I ended up going with the Parisian Restaurant. So I used all the lights from the Oriental and built and put them into the Parisian. So we'll go over that here in a second. And Gotta turn the cars on. They're a little harder because I don't have a switch for them. Or at least not an easy to get to switch. So the Volkswagen bus is in the back here. There we go, a little battery pack for them. Volkswagen Beetle, which was not built a couple minutes ago, and now it is, magically. Just pull the roof off there. Now I changed it up from the instructions a little bit, put things in slightly different areas than they had intended. So I think they wanted the battery pack probably in the engine compartment. I ended up putting it behind the back seat. I'll show you all that here shortly. And then finally the Aston Martin. That is in the back. Oh, and I'm missing one. Get all that tucked back in there. So finally is the passenger train. So that's hiding back here in the back. Now the passenger train's a little different. Again, I extended it by had a front car, a rear car, and a middle car. I bought 2 sets, so that would give me a front car, a rear car, and 2 middle cars. And then I used the other 2 cars to build my own additional 2 middle cars. So I have a total of 4 middle cars. So I can bring that around to the front here so you can see it. The driver compartment has a little bit of a light there. There are lights here on the drive lights. All the passenger compartments are lit up. Oops, just ran into the bus. So I bought the kit plus extras so that way I can light all 6 passenger, or yeah, all 6 cars really, all 4 passengers, and then the rear train car here has lights on it. And then I used the flashing lights that were meant for the railroad crossing, and I used them on the rear lights there. So I also opted to buy there's a connector, and I'll show you that in a little bit later. There's a connector that you can actually buy to plug the lights into your existing battery pack on the old RC battery packs, and I did that. Now the problem with it is that so you can see the lights all look pretty good right now, they're all pretty steady, and the nice thing is I can use the remote and I can actually change the dim level of them to a certain degree, right? But as soon as I try to drive the train, it's going to make a liar out of me. So there we go. Having fresh batteries help. When I was testing this initially, I had some random batteries that were already in there. They seemed to be fully charged, but they would cause the LEDs to blink when the train is running. So the batteries couldn't handle both train running and LEDs running at the same time. So either use fresh batteries, or you can use the battery pack that they actually include with it. It's just a little battery pack. I can show you that here in a minute. And when I turn the lights back on, and it takes two coin-sized batteries. So you can use that alternatively, and that way you can have 2 separate power sources, and it might work a little better. So let's get that guy back out of the way and show you some of these other ones. So go in reverse order. The Aston Martin, 2 headlights there, super bright, has kind of washing them out there in the video. It has a reverse light. Let me cover them up. So you have that's your red tail light, your orange running light, and then on the bottom is a white reverse light. So it looks like it's one giant light back there, but it's actually 3 separate bulbs on each side. And then interior has a dome light inside, and that is it on this guy. So this guy had 9 lights on it. On most of these builds, they have the wire runs down the middle, which is what they did in this case, and the trunk has a and I'll have to probably show that to you after I turn the lights back on, but it has the wiring bundle and the battery pack. So then the Volkswagen Beetle, which I built during the 72-hour live stream, has 2 front running lights, 2 headlights, 2 rear tail lights, and again, that is it. So this one's a pretty small amount of lights, pretty inexpensive set as far as the lighting kit goes. Kind of on the lower dollar side. Again, they have you run all the cables underneath the chassis and into basically into the back seat. So I don't remember where I hid the connector pack. Oh, there it is. It's basically underneath the back seat. So again, I kind of deviated from the instructions a little bit on where I hid things. So the Volkswagen bus, a split window 1960s VW bus, 1962 according to the license plate, has your 2 front running lights, 2 headlights, 2 tail lights, and then interior has, whoops, either my battery just died or I bumped a wire. This was like the first one I lit up, so it's been played with a bit. I think my batteries might have just died on it. Oh, there it goes. So I think there's actually a loose connection there. So interior has 4 lights. It has a couple little dome lights inside. Let me open up the doors there for you. So they kind of wash out, but there's a couple little like sconces, I guess they're called, back there, 3 of them, and then there's the dome light for the driver's side. So again, a fun lighting build on that one. And of course, I'm going to have to go through and find that loose connection there. So I can't really pick up the buildings too well. Let me get these boxes out of the way. So the Grand Emporium, I think this was actually the first one I did actually do the kit on. And I learned it was a lot of lights on it. I learned a lot from it. So the one thing they do give you is they give you a brand new, let's use their card here. That's the street light that comes with it. Turn that guy off. There we go. So that's the street light that comes with it there, but they give you a replacement because they actually drill out the center for you and pre-wire it. So all you have to do is just put the new street light down and plug it in. So that's pretty handy because these street light posts, they're not normally drilled out, so you can't get the wire in there. And even if you did, I don't think you can get the connector all the way through. That might be something I experiment with. I have a bunch of these street light posts. I might try to drill one out and see how that goes. This has a number of lights on it. I'm not going to try to count them here because I'm sure I'll miss one. And then on all these modulars, I actually ended up modifying them quite a bit because I have them on the, I don't have them on the original base plate. I actually put mills on them, and they wanted you to put all the wiring connections like back behind one of these walls. I actually put it in the base underneath in the mills, and that's the same place I have the, I used these little arches here, and I ran the power cord out the side of the arch in the back, so that worked out really well for me. The only thing additionally that I don't like on this is that I can't take the floors apart. When I try to take a floor off, I have them attached. I have a wire, and you can't see it. You can barely even see it when the lights are all on and you're looking at it in person. But you can. Oh, there you go. You can see it right there. I can see it just behind my hand there. There's a wire right there, and so you can't take the floors off. Now they do sell a contactor pad option where you have two contacts, and you can put one on the bottom floor and one on the top floor, and then when they sit down, they make connection. So I'll probably be buying a few of those for all these modulars. So otherwise on this one, I think it's pretty well stock. I rerouted some cables, wired it slightly different from the instructions just because I wanted things in a different spot, and I wanted to hide the wires as much as I absolutely could. So if you really get up close and look at it, you can see some wires running through the building, but it's pretty well done. I mean, at a glance, you know, even especially with the lights off, you won't see them. So then let's move the Volkswagens out of the way here. Now we'll get into why I did the Parisian Restaurant, and I think I mispronounced it earlier in the video, and I'm probably mispronouncing it again now. I've done that multiple times. And I did a time-lapse build on it. It's kind of cool. That should be posted. But then after the time lapse was done, I went back through and did the lights. So again, they give you one of those street lamps to go with it, which is really nice because it matches the other one. They lit up the back of the seashells by the seashore. They lit up the back of the seashells, and that's pretty cool. There's some patio lights here. There's some back, and I didn't give myself enough cord here. There are some a couple of lights here on the back porch. There's a light on the back door here. Now, see, of course, I was using the lighting kit from the Oriental Theater, and so I had extra lights to work with on this, and I started adding lights where they did not call for them, because I thought it might look better. One, I do remember one I added was underneath the door entrance here. I added a down spot. I do remember doing that. So same issue though. If I try to take the floors apart, they end up, I can't because they're wired together. And I also changed how the wiring is done. One, I put the majority of the wires in the base, in the mill's base, just like I did on the other one. But then I ended up running, like, for example, these back porch lights, they wanted you to run to the first floor connections, and I wanted to be able to lift this whole thing off and only have one connection, which I believe I accomplished. But how to do that? Yeah, I did accomplish that. To do that, I ran the wire down through the kitchen, and I actually hit a little false wall here in the kitchen. And I also attached the patio, and I plated it to the second floor, and that way they both come off in one piece. Whereas the original build, it's two separate pieces. But I think, yeah, I don't remember what other changes I made to lighting counts and positions on that. But it was nice having the extra lights to be able to play with some options and add them in as needed. So the old fishing store, now this one I had built at a show live, and again I didn't give myself enough cord. Let's just unplug it for a second. So I'm using, the back of these come with USB connections, and I can show those when I turn it on here. So where's my other cord? Okay. So, old fishing store. I built it at a show in real time, so I didn't get a chance to put on mills yet. I do plan to do that. I think all the lights in here are in the positions that they call out for. I, again, might have changed the wire path slightly, but not too much. So yeah, I think it's pretty much how they call for it. And I do like all their positions and everything. I might add some to the back area because it's pretty dark back there, and maybe down here by where the docks are, because it's obviously pretty dark there as well. Just some more exterior to help light it up. If I ever make it to a show where they do the nighttime turn off the lights thing, I'll want to have a little bit more lighting there. And of course, it might just be in my city that I have some ambient lights or something like that. So yeah, I think that's it on the show and tell with the lights off. So let's turn the lights back on and get into it a little more. Okay, so we made a mess of our display. That's cool, that's fine. Get rid of some more stuff here. So let's look at some of the cars. let's start there. So the Aston Martin's actually belongs to my husband. I bought it for him. He built it, and so then I bought the kit for it, the lighting kit for it, and he built that. We put all that in there. So I didn't actually wire this one. Let's get you a little closer. Maybe not. Tried to get the camera closer, but the mount's not going to work for me. So it has the battery. That's what's hanging out the back. It takes the two coin-sized batteries in it. This guy has a 12 connector back there. That's what that is, and those are all the plugs that are on it. And I want to say there's probably a smaller connector in the front. So you can see right there on that tan brick, that little line, that's the wire that goes from the back to the front. And yep, sure enough, there under the front is it's another connector back there. Okay, so got a little closer to the camera here. I want to make sure you can see these things because I've had a lot of questions about stuff. So on the Volkswagen 62 Volkswagen split window bus, it has the wiring battery in the back here, and this is one I was having trouble with earlier. So again, same concept. It's a coin size battery package, just a different shape. There's a little tiny switch here on the side that you can turn them on and off, and then it just sits back there on the bed. The same idea. It has a big 12 connector right there, right? And it has all the wires. Now in this case, they gave me a bunch of these 2x6 plates to help hold the wires in. So these plates here were not part of the original set. So then you can see just barely off the black there. There's a bunch of bundles of wires there, a bunch here, and a bunch going right there. So that's all your lighting. But when you look at it front on, you can't see any wires. So you can barely. Nope, I was just catching a shadow. I thought I could see one, but I couldn't. So like you can probably in person you can barely see a wire coming off the corner of that little pip. Same thing with the tail lights. Whoops, and it looks like we hit that loose connection again. But like right there on the corner of that, you can see the little wire coming around the corner. That's all that's exposed. I mean, that's really on this particular build. Those corner backlights are all that's readily exposed from the outside. When I look inside, I do see. Let's see if I can get that camera angle right. The light closer to you. Okay. I think it's just a little too dark in there for you to see, but there is some wire in there that I can see barely, but they did a really good job instructing you on how to hide the wire. And as long as you follow their instructions, and you know, you might have to modify them slightly, but you can get the wire really well hidden. There's my loose connection. The wire just came back on, so I'm going to turn that off for now. Okay. So same thing on the Beetle. Now the Beetle does have, it's a little bit more obvious. The wire is going right across the headlight right there on both sides. This one's really well hidden. You can't see that at all. And then the tail lights are also very well hidden. I can't see them in person, so they're very well hidden there. So that's the vehicles. Now the train, because it is a 6-long train, and it is modified and all that, I can't. My downside on this is that I can't transport the train easily, right? Because if I try to pick this up, they're all connected all the way through. And so what you have to end up doing is you have to actually end up finding a middle section. Now you did it in thirds earlier. And you just pop off this middle guy on either or both sides. And this might be another good spot for those contact plates. I'm just not sure that I want to spend quite that much on it. But then at that point I can unplug one side, and then I can split the train. So the plug is just that big. That's the plug connection head. And then the other side of it, well, I actually have one over here. Here, this is much better. So this is what the train has in it. It has 2 of these in each car. There's actually 2 lights on that, so that means there's 4 lights in each car. The connector head is that little black piece on the end there, and the connector see if we can get them to focus. So there you go, that's perfect. There's the connector. So, and it does matter basically up versus down, but you can plug it into either side of the light, and it's very tiny. You need your glasses on, you need good eyes, you need something. And it's kind of a pain to connect when you're got a bunch of stuff going on. You got your build all torn apart. Some of the builds I had to tear apart pretty far in order to get the connectors all plugged in and everything. So that's the connector. There's the lights themselves. That's how small. That's 2 of them right there, but that's how small the lights are. The white side. So in this case, this bottom one is the actual light, and that's small enough that it can sit right on top of the Lego pip, the Lego little dot, and then you can put like a 1x1 round stud right over the top of that to hold it in place. So that's what it involves to tear apart the train, or to get it in. It's just 2 pieces, and then now at this point I can grab half of the train, right? I can grab the 3 cars and pick it up and move it as needed. Now if I'm transporting to a show, I'll probably have to split it into thirds, and just because 2 cars fits into the bin easier. That's just something I'm going to have to play with down the road. I just want to throw these on here real quick so I don't lose parts. There we go. Okay, so let's do the story behind this guy. So I mentioned I do have the Palace Cinema. There it is. It's all built, ready to go. Right? Well, the story behind this is that it's actually glued down. I bought it fully knowledge, like I knew fully disclosed that it was glued, and I bought it as such. I can take the floors off from each other, but as you see it now is pretty much as far apart as it'll go. And I didn't pay very much for it because I figured, you know what, I can just display it as is and call it good. But then once I started looking at the lighting kit for it and everything else, I got really excited about the lights, and I want to add lights to it. They flash up and down the whole display here. It has a lot of backlit, has a lot of lights on it. The kit was really big, and so I really want to light it up. So I'm planning on building this from scratch. Parting it from Bricklink and everything. Get that guy out of the way. I'm planning on putting that all back together from Bricklink and everything, and getting it all, not restoring that one, but building a second one, because I really like it, and I want one that I can modify. So that one's just going to sit as is, just going to be a shelf piece, an ornamental piece. So kids, don't glue your Lego, because you can't modify it later. You can't do anything with it later, and it makes it really sad. That's the one on the short cord. So, well, I can unplug it. So, what I did with these Mills plates, there we go, is I actually ran the cord. So these are all these modulars are all powered off USB. So I'm just using a little USB hub that's plugged into the wall. So I'm plugged into the computer, it's plugged into the wall, and I just have them all plugged into that. So that makes it real easy. And the nice thing about the modular is the USB plug can actually fit inside. So if I'm not wanting to light it up and display it, I can actually just pop this plate off, tuck the USB cord in there, and then put the plate back on. You won't even know there's any lights on it. So that's pretty handy. And then so I figure I'll just use USB extensions around the build and a USB hub, and then I just plug it into an outlet there in the convention and run it. Or if there's not an outlet available, I can use those USB phone charger battery packs, and that'll work really well as well. So there's a lot of good options there. I like the USB now. Some of the other companies sell, each light has a USB plug on it, and that's just too big. There's too much to hide. This is nice because I can just put one USB plug on the end of the build. I actually have one, a spare one in my parts pile here. Take a look at that. So there we go. There's a USB plug with the little cord whip on it, and there's a 6 connector extender. So it doesn't matter which on the 6 port here. It doesn't matter which one gets the power and which one gets the lights. You can do them in any order, whatever works best for you. But yeah, so I can run everything all together, and then I can just put this somewhere that is most convenient for me, and then just plug it into the wall, and I'm done. So I think that's pretty much the gist of it all. So the one thing that I mentioned, the one thing I mentioned was the train crossing and the alternating lights. So I have a train crossing hiding back here, and it's not lit up currently. Find homes for all these guys. So there you go. So I have a train crossing back here. It's not currently lit up, so I figured we can light it up together and see how it all goes together. So I do have that USB plug. This train's gonna get in my way. There we go. See, it's convenient that I unplugged it. So I have my USB plug here. I'm going to go ahead and use that because this is a stationary item. Not worried about needing batteries for it. And then I have my 1 to 6 adapter. Now I don't necessarily need this because I'm going to use the multi-effects board we talked about earlier in the video. And so on the multi-effects board there is one obvious connector by itself and then 2 more connectors off to the other side. You want to see what that looks like. It's pretty small. It has a little switch and a little dial. So the switch chooses the allows you to choose the options, and the dial changes the speed. So figure out which way that goes in. There we go. Got that plugged in. Now I think I should have some extra bit lights. So they do put on the package, like that package right there says it's a flashing white, so I know I don't want to use those. So these ones that are loose I think are the ones that I want. So I have 2 of them here. They're probably the 30 centimeter version. It's like a USB cable, you know, you try it the first way, it doesn't fit, you flip it over, it still doesn't fit, and you flip it over again and it finally goes in. Alright, so I got that plugged in. Steal the plug from the Grand Emporium. And there we go. So we have our 2 little lights. So a nice slow pulse to them. There's that option, that's more for like a fire truck or something. Or this one. I don't remember what that one's supposed to be doing. trying to slow it down and speed it up, see if I can get something out of it. So that's the fire truck one on slow, and then on fast. So, and then there's the one I want. So that's actually on fast there. And then if I turn it way down, that's on slow. I think right there is about perfect. So we can take, we have this little railroad crossing, this little red bip on it. Pop that guy off. We just set this guy on top, a little light on top. And then just lock it on there with the little 1x1 pip. And we can take the cable, and you can hide it any way you want. In this case, I'm just going to wrap it around the post for now, and then put it back on my plate. And then if I were doing this, I would hide it, you know, behind the track or whatever else, you know, or probably on a mill's plate and get it really nice and hidden. Same thing with this one. And they give you all these instructions saying, you know, hey, be careful with the wires, be careful with how you put the lights on, and you absolutely do want to follow all that. But it is nice that you can actually put the wires between the studs on the bricks. You don't want to go over the top of the stud. You can go between studs, and really, which really helps to hide it. This one's being a little bit tougher on me. There we go. Got it on. Oh, I thought I had it. Actually, I haven't had them pop off like that before, so that's new. Okay, turn that guy back on. There you go. We have a train crossing. So, seems a little slow on that. Fortunately for this setting, that's as fast as I can go, unless I want to do a kind of one of those effects. So, you know, it gives you some options. You can play with it and see which one you like the best. Alright, you can play with this all night. So, I think that's about everything I have to show you. See if I'm missing anything here. I do have some extra parts, so because the Oriental Theater came with so many extra lights, I have extra parts for that, so I can play with these a little bit and change things up a little bit. I personally don't like changing out batteries, so I'd probably even hardwire the cars, because you know it's not like they're going to really move, and then just put them on a USB cord as well. Or you know, put one of those rechargeable battery packs in there. I think that'd work too. But I haven't had to change the batteries in these yet. But I haven't really ran them a whole lot, so I'm not sure what the lifespan is on them. And they're just your regular, like in this case, this is they actually give them with it. It's a CR2032 battery. It's just those little clean batteries. So they're pretty easy to buy. So yeah, definitely a lot of options. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and you know, maybe I'll do a live stream at some point, and we can dig into it and see a little bit more, and we can take one of these builds apart and see how it's all wired. All right, well, thanks everyone. Have a great day.